still tuned in to Politico Politica with me, your host, Isabella Akinseye. It's time for Project Lagos segment. So you already alluded to some of the things that you will be doing if you're voted in. But how will you rate Lagos West Senatorial District now? I
think currently it's very poor. We have very poor representation. The entire Badagry division has been forgotten by this government. Lagos-Badagry Expressway is full of so many potholes. If you're coming from Alimosho to go to Badagry, it can take you almost 2.5 hours without any traffic on that road. And this is an international road, so it's terrible. Lagos West, being the biggest central district in Nigeria, needs more quality representation. It needs a representative that is using that platform to bring in as many private sector individuals, as many NGOs into this place to create primary healthcare centers that make sense, data-driven medicine and things of that nature, especially with education as well.
Well, why do you think you're the best man for the job?
Because I care. I have a huge amount of empathy. My passion has always been to serve. I come from a family that has a long history of that. We complain too much in this country. We talk too much in this country. Let us get involved. And I truly believe that I have the skill set. I mean, I'm an architect. I have a master's in architecture from the best school in the world for architecture. When I said I wanted to go into politics, I went back to school, Unilag, and I got a master's in research and public policy, specifically to be able to allow one to legislate properly. The idea of forming policies that have significant consensus and carrying stakeholders along. This is something I spent almost 2.5 years pursuing and doing so successfully. So I believe more than anything, aside from the education, aside from the exposure, the empathy, being a people's person, not wanting to run away from your constituents. People, they get into position and then they just run away and live so far away from people. And I also believe that if one can actually execute this and be the prototype, a new prototype of senator, where you're not a former governor, you're not going to retire. Instead, you are here to try and make the most of what it can be and actually actively affect your constituents. And I think I'm also going to open the door for a lot of young people to come in. And that's what we need, fresh faces and fresh ideas.
Okay, so you said before that you're not going to be a senator that just stays in Abuja and forgets its constituents. So how much will you do in terms of engaging people after you get into power?
What I want to do is I want people and the constituents to feel that they truly have a representative. They have somebody that is a phone call away or a ward meeting away or a town hall away, and somebody that has these town halls regularly. And I feel that you can achieve this now more than ever because of the use of technology. We have our own campaign website, we have our manifestos that you have access to. But when we now get into position, we're going to have our website that lets you keep track of the voting patterns. We also have regular town hall meetings. We can use technology to bridge the gap. Even if you are sitting in your office in Abuja, there's no reason why there cannot be a screen and a projector so you can be part of ward meetings or you can be part of town hall meetings. Also to have enough people that are working as almost your ambassadors, that are interacting with people and giving you feedback regularly. And another important thing that we need to do in Lagos West is collect data. We have no data. There is nowhere that I can go to see how many people got malaria the last year, or what's the level of unemployment, what kind of skill sets do people have, so that you can now tailor your energies towards this and know the kind of businesses, NGOs that you need to attract into particular regions in that particular senatorial district, because they are very varied. But you need data to make intelligent use of resources that you have. And you don't see that happening. So that's going to be a major task, collecting data across all the local governments, the businesses in those areas. What do they need? What kind of skill sets do people have here? What kind of skill sets can we train people to have? China is what it is today because it has a huge population that are highly skilled. No matter how much you don't like China or made in China electronics, Apple cannot go anywhere else to make those electronics because there are people there that have been trained so well that it now attracts the companies to come there. And these are the kind of things we can do in Lagos West. So companies will say, you know what, the best place we should go to is Lagos West because they have the skilled labor. And you can only do that with data. So that's going to be a major part of our government.
So you've talked about a model senatorial district. You've talked about a model senator, which ties into our topic of the day, or new school politics. But how do you see this model senatorial district fitting into a model Lagos?
Well, it's half of Lagos, right? So it's not exactly fitting into a model Lagos. It's half of Lagos. It's the largest senatorial district in Nigeria. And it has a huge population. We're looking at about 11 million people. I think it just needs to fit into itself and be a senatorial district that works and have a representative that's working and fighting to ensure the federal government does what is right with infrastructure. I think we just need to get it right, make sure the Badagry division is no longer forgotten by the Lagos government, and ensure that the people of Lagos West actually have good governance.
So we're looking at Lagos in general now. So maybe the question will be, what will your ideal model Lagos be?
So my ideal Lagos would be Lagos where we have better transportation networks. We've created systems where not everybody needs to use their car to go to work. A place where we've made sure that we use our influence as a state that's very wealthy and resourceful to actually work with other states, to almost be like, have satellite Lagos all over the country, so that we also limit migration coming in. Because no matter how well you are planning your city and no matter how much of structure you are building, if you cannot stem some of that migration, you are still just going to end up in the mess you're trying to avoid. And as long as Lagos does not take the role of captain of development, especially in the Southwest, then you still have all that migration coming in. So we need to do that. We also need to reach out to our brothers in the South and the Southeast to ensure their ports become opened so that we can reduce the kind of port traffic that we have, affecting our roads, affecting quality of life because of people in traffic, affecting businesses and things like that. I also want a Lagos that's inclusive. We have fascinating history. Lagos State has always almost been apart from the country. It was one of the last ones to come and become part of the union. And Lagos State has been home to intellectuals, political giants. So the idea that for almost 20 years we've been tolerating one person just determining all the factors in is very anti-Lagos. A Lagos that has a very good quality of life. You're not sitting down in 2 hours traffic every day in the morning, 3 hours traffic coming back home. A Lagos that has huge employment rates, and a Lagos that actually creates some of the most highly skilled labor force in Africa that Lagos are like.
This new Lagos, it sounds like a China of some sort. So people are coming here to manufacture, people are coming here for the tourism, people are coming here to learn, and things work, and we're not spending so many hours in traffic.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's where we close our Project Lagos segment. But when we return, we switch things up on a very lighter note on our quick fire segment. You don't want to miss that.